I used to watch the show with my younger sister, and I would watch Steve. When my cousin was born, she and my sister would watch Joe. Now that I'm doing the show, I have two nieces and a nephew, and they're watching my show. So as far as like spanning generations, that is the craziest and the coolest thing I've ever been a part of, and to this day is my favorite job I've ever had.
That's incredible.
It was almost like he was looking at me the whole time. No, looking back, I was blissfully unaware of the place that Blue's Clues held in the hearts and homes of so many people. And when I first heard about the job, I was like, I mean, like, does she play the blues? Like, what are we talking about? Thought it was like a dog with a soul patch. I don't know, and so like what's funny about the whole thing is I have a little sister who, when I finally ended up airing, she was 6 years old, so she was right in the exact right age for that, and so my experience of that I sort of saw through her eyes. In fact, when I first aired, it was great. We had rented out this sports bar so that everybody could see a TV, because like in sports bars they have a million TVs. And so I finally like popped up onto the screen or whatever, and she was sitting right next to me, and you just saw her go from like, huh, and she just accepted it. It was great. But doing it, I wished that we had more time, especially looking back now, that there were like more Steve and Joe episodes together. And the gift of now that the torch has been passed to Josh is that whenever we get to show up to set and we ever get to work together, it's the three of us. And it's just, that is so much fun to make. It's just, it's the most fun we're having.
That's amazing.
Making that, so.
I feel like maybe I psyched myself out as far as like, how do I do this? And then I remembered, because I went to theater school, I studied musical theater. When you're taking acting classes, you're in a black box, and there's zero budget. So you're imagining that you have a cup in your hand while you're trying to do the sexy scene, like. So you're really using your imagination, and don't waste that.
Drinking that.
Don't waste that.
Oh, jeez, Steve. And so like I psyched myself out, but then I remember I got the chance to watch Steve and Donovan do their scene together, and they were just playing. And I remember it's like in Hook, where they're like, "Play with us, Peter." Like don't think too hard about it. There's so many wonderful people and technical directors in the room that will help you get the timing right and the blocking right. Not for Steve, because he was in the wild, wild west of children's television. But thankfully for myself, I had all of their work that they've done to inform what I did. So it was a much easier transition once I realized, oh, you know how to do this, just play.
Yeah, you guys have all seen, like the making of Star Wars and stuff, where like Ewan McGregor has 300 people dressed in green suits, and they're all running around helping create that world for him. Josh had that.
He had Ewan McGregor there with him.
Ewan McGregor was in a green suit.
But no, seriously,
Find the clues.
Working on a green screen or a blue screen, in my case, it does have a lot of challenges, and it does make things it makes certain things incredibly hard, but certain things it almost makes it easier. And I think we all kind of developed our own kung fu with that. Josh was immediately good at it, which was weird to watch. It was very kind of Neo in the Matrix kind of thing. He was just very immediately, I think it's because he's a dancer, he's very immediately physically and spatially aware. But we had refined the process from when I started it to when Donovan did it to by the time Josh did it, it was pretty slick. But when I did it, we did it for zero money. Like, it's so romantic now to go back and think about it. We were like a punk rock band. Like, we were all in our 20s. We did that show on desktop Macintosh. It wasn't even in a studio. It was like in like a, when they shoot the hamburger for the Whopper commercial, it was like one of those little places. It was this little tiny room, and it was just me on a blue screen. And we didn't even have like directors. We had animation directors who were sitting there going, tell him to move his y-axis 16 degrees to the left. And I'm like, what the hell are we doing here, And I would run around, like you would imagine there's like a camera right here, right? And I would run around, I'd be like, okay, there's a salt shaker over here, talk to the salt shaker. Oh, there's soap, talk to the soap, sing the song with the soap. And you do the whole thing, and you'd end up here, and if you were here, it was right, and if you were here, it was wrong. In a void, right? And it was like that for every take of every shot, every day. And so at first, yeah, man, it was really challenging to create that world. But eventually, and not just for me, but for everyone on set, like it was very, very, very difficult. But I think it got easier for me. And, we learned from our mistakes by the time we got to you. You had it a little technically easier. They were a little better at
a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still didn't, because when you're on camera, they'd be like, camera left, camera right. And so my left and right just became completely discombobulated because right is left and left is right. Camera left is right?
I'm still confused.
Maybe I still
Now I don't remember.
And so now, and then I think you could see in my performance just a little bit of hesitation. It was like not knowing where I was going to go sometimes. And so whatever you got to kind of use it. The whole process was a fairly well-oiled machine by the time I came around. So it was basically up to me to get to speed. And thankfully, the crew was very, very hospitable and welcoming to me. So they made that great. And then Neo.
But then Josh got like breaks and like fancy chroma key equipment and people dressed up in green suits handing him little notebooks and stuff. And we were like,
he had the magnet in the crayon.
Yeah.
Keeping the magnet from shooting off of the spiral of the notebook.
Season 1.
We didn't have a magnet.
Yeah. I feel like I needed safety goggles or a Kevlar vest because sometimes you'd be like, notebook, right. Things just like shot across the room. It was supposed to be so that I, walking around on the street, would have an easier time of it so that there'd be a separation. I, outside of storybook world or outside of the blues home, get to be Donovan. And then once inside, I would be Joe. But given that the audience is largely a preschool audience, when I was there at the time, it became confusing. And so the name Joe was decided before I was ever hired. They voted around, there was a vote around, all the writers and the animators and everybody, and Joe was the name that won. So whoever
it's a solid
took over
name,
that
I'm
job,
just going to say.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
I loved it. I love these two people so very much. Whenever we get the chance to hang out, I take it. And I never thought that would be the case, especially since I've watched them on television. But for me, I don't know how it is for you all, but they're like brothers to me. So it's really, really special. To be able to do this movie was just silliness. And this is typically what it is like.
I have never enjoyed being Steve more than I do now. Like, this idea that he went off to college and became the world's crappiest detective is just, and I'm with the reboot with Josh's episodes, Dono and I were really pretty involved behind the scenes, writing, directing, producing, doing all that kind of stuff. And I would always write, just because I would always write an episode and I'd be like, and then just Dono shows up. so that we can hang out for 3 weeks, and
There's one who was like, I was like, where am I in the script? Where am I? He was like, and then at the very end, Joe pops out of a hat.
yeah,
It was, oh, hi, and then
because I was
and then
directing
goes
that
away.
episode, so I was like, I can hang out with Donovan that day.
And I was like, I think I called you. I was like, wait, they let you get away with that?
Right, but the point is that would we do it again? I think in a heartbeat, man. And the other the joy of it for Dono and I, we've talked about, is that we don't have to do anything. Like there's no pressure.
Yeah.
We're Timon and Pumbaa. You know what I mean? Josh has to do everything hard, all the hard
Well, look,
stuff.
Josh has it the easiest, not having to like learn the blue screen by like he has it a little easier. So
Yeah, but man,
it's only fair.
He's the pressure's all on him. We're just in the back eating cookies.
Yeah, but I feel like whenever y'all are on set, I do less work, and that's fierce. It's so easy to memorize my lines whenever you're on. I barely look at the script whenever they're on set. I don't know what it is. Like, typically my morning is like prepping for the shoot day, but like when I know that you're going to be on set, we're going to be all together, I just glance at it, and then we run it, and then we do it. And it's so easy whenever you two are there, and I love it.
We worked really hard writing those scripts, and you didn't even look at them?
I was gonna say, man, it's like, I didn't like hearing any of that.
Man!
There's 4 drafts of that script.
Yeah, that stuff does not come easy to me.
Working with Ray Charles was absolutely, it might have been the highlight of my tenure on that show. I mean, what a living legend. He was such a badass. It was crazy. He showed up with the script printed out in Braille, memorized. He had a little chessboard with pegs, like peg pieces on it. And he had that memorized, and he was in a 3-day chess match with his assistant, Vern. And Vern was like, no one lets Mr. Charles win. No one beats him. Ever. Right? And he was just this brilliant dude, and he was singing the song, music makes me move. Amazing. Ray Charles is singing in the studio. And we're all going. And then he stops and he goes, wait a minute. Who's the piano man? Who's playing the piano? Who's the piano man? And the guy playing the piano on that track was Mr. Salt, right? The guy playing Mr. Salt. Aww. Who on the show talks like this, but in real life he talks like this, right? And he's like, that's me, Mr. Charles. And he goes, I like what you did after the C7 there, blah, blah, blah. You guys mind if I play that? And he played piano on the song. He just jumped in and we recorded him playing the piano. And the thing is, they set up the microphones. They're like, oh boy, a living legend is playing the piano. And he hit those keys so hard that all the needles like clipped, right? He was like punk rocking the piano, and we had to start over. And he was like, no, you got to understand, when I came up, I had to be louder than the drums. It's like, my God, you're Ray Charles. It was a surreal, that didn't even hit me until like 3 months later. I was sitting around with the other musician, with the musician guys, and I was like, did that happen? Did we record that song with Ray Charles? So I could go on and on, I'm sorry, but that was a real highlight. Thank you for that question.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. I'm very fortunate and very blessed to have that this happened at the right time. And I was at the right time. It was the right time at the right place. We have an incredible team. And I have no idea how I came to be this person, but I know that I got here because people gave me the opportunity. I worked very hard, yes, but people gave me the opportunity. And when I got there, people supported me and made sure, Steve and Donovan, they made sure to tell me, like, don't ever feel like you have to replicate or do anything that we did or emulate any of that. Just be you and celebrate you. And I remember the day that our supervising producer came up to me and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know, you're getting a Lola this season. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, wait, did you say Lola? I'm like, what? I think it falls on us to lift each other up and to celebrate each other and our differences and everything that makes us so unique. And I find that the more specific we can be with our culture and the things that we grew up with, the more we realize that we're not all so different, and that everyone has a Lola and everyone has that favorite dessert and that memory that they share. So I'm just so grateful to be here. And as long as we keep uplifting each other, I don't see why we can't continue on that path.
Mr. Rogers is going to be remembered as a great teacher, not as a children's television show host. That guy should be on our money.
This is Debbie Derryberry, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like and subscribe. And remember, geniuses know you need to have fun and follow your fandom. Got a blast!